Have you ever stopped to think about where you keep your stuff? Your pantry, your closet, that junk drawer we all have. It seems simple, right? But the story of storage is actually the story of human civilization itself. It's a tale of survival, innovation, and the quest to conquer time. Today, we're going on an epic journey through 12,000 years of history to uncover how the humble act of storing things built the world we live in. Our story begins around 10,000 BC with our hunter-gatherer ancestors. Life was lived there. Food was found, eaten, and the cycle repeated. But then, a revolutionary idea took root. Agriculture. As early humans began to cultivate crops, they faced a new problem. What to do with the surplus? They couldn't eat an entire harvest at once. The solution was the storage pit. These were simple holes dug in the ground, often lined with stone or clay, to protect precious grains from moisture and pests. This wasn't just about saving food. It was about saving time. For the first time, communities had a buffer against starvation. They could plan for the future, survive harsh winters, and support individuals who weren't directly involved in farming like artisans, leaders, and builders. The storage pit was the first bank, and its currency was survival. Fast forward to ancient Egypt, around 3000 BC. The Nile's predictable floods created immense agricultural wealth, but also the risk of famine in bad years. The Egyptians elevated storage to an art form. They built massive, state-controlled granaries. These weren't just pits. They were sophisticated structures made of mud brick, with raised floors for ventilation and carefully designed openings for loading and unloading grain. The story of Joseph in the Old Testament, interpreting the Pharaoh's dream of 7 fat cows and 7 lean cows, is a perfect illustration. He advises building up grain reserves during the plentiful years to survive the coming famine. These granaries were the backbone of the Egyptian empire, enabling them to feed a massive workforce to build the pyramids, support a powerful army, and manage a complex society. Centralized storage became a tool of power and administration, with scribes meticulously tracking every bushel of wheat. Meanwhile, in the bustling cities of the Roman Empire, a different kind of storage need emerged. Rome was the center of a vast trade network, with goods pouring in from across the Mediterranean. To handle this influx, they developed the Horium. These were public warehouses, often multi-story buildings with thick walls, small windows, and complex locking systems to deter theft. They stored everything: grain, olive oil, wine, spices, and even marble. The Horia Galba in Rome was a colossal complex covering an area the size of several city blocks. These warehouses were the logistical heart of the empire, ensuring the capital's massive population was fed and supplied. They stabilized prices, facilitated trade on an unprecedented scale, and showcased Roman engineering prowess. The Horium was the direct ancestor of the modern warehouse, a testament to how commerce drives storage innovation. As the Roman Empire fell, Europe entered the Middle Ages. Large-scale, centralized storage declined. Instead, storage became localized and fortified. Castles and monasteries became the new centers of surplus. The castle keep, with its thick stone walls, wasn't just for defense. Its lower levels served as secure storerooms for food, water, and weapons, allowing inhabitants to withstand long sieges. Monasteries, with their disciplined labor and agricultural lands, also amassed significant reserves. They built barns, cellars, and dovecotes, becoming islands of stability and knowledge in a fragmented world. For the average person, storage was a small-scale affair: a cellar for root vegetables, a salted barrel of meat, and a chest for valuables. The focus shifted from grand public works back to household and community survival. The age of exploration, starting in the 15th century, reignited the need for large-scale storage. As ships like caravels and galleons crossed oceans, they became floating warehouses. Their holds were packed with provisions for long voyages, and on the return journey, filled with exotic goods, spices from the East Indies, silver from the Americas, and textiles from India. This global trade led to the rise of massive port cities like Amsterdam, Venice, and London. Here, a new generation of warehouses sprang up along the docks. These buildings were designed for efficiency, with cranes and hoists to move heavy cargo directly from ship to storeroom. Joint stock companies, like the Dutch East India Company, built enormous warehouses that were symbols of their economic power, holding fortunes in nutmeg, cloves, and pepper. Storage was no longer just about survival. It was about global commerce and immense wealth. The 18th and 19th centuries brought the Industrial Revolution, and with it, an explosion in manufacturing. Factories churned out goods at a dizzying pace, creating an unprecedented need for storage of both raw materials and finished products. The warehouse evolved again. Iron frames allowed for taller, stronger buildings, while the invention of the steam engine powered new cranes and, eventually, freight elevators. Railroads connected these industrial warehouses to a national and then international market. This was the era of the catalog company, like Sears, Roebuck, and Co., which operated from a gigantic warehouse in Chicago, shipping everything from sewing machines to entire prefabricated houses to customers across America. The warehouse became the critical link in the new mass production, mass consumption economy. The 20th century saw storage technology take another leap. The post-World War II economic boom and the rise of consumer culture demanded even greater efficiency. Enter the pallet rack system in the 1950s. This simple idea of standardized pallets and adjustable metal shelving, combined with the forklift, revolutionized warehouse operations. It allowed for vertical storage, maximizing space and dramatically speeding up the process of moving goods. Then came the computer. Barcodes and warehouse management systems in the 1970s and 80s brought digital intelligence to logistics. For the first time, every single item could be tracked in real time, from the moment it entered the warehouse to the moment it left. This precision laid the groundwork for the next, and perhaps most dramatic of. And that brings us to today, the age of e-commerce and automated logistics. Think of the massive fulfillment centers operated by companies like Amazon. These aren't just warehouses, they're technological marvels. Fleets of autonomous robots zip across the floor, retrieving items from towering shelves and bringing them to human workers. Sophisticated algorithms predict demand, optimize inventory placement, and plot the most efficient delivery routes. This is just-in-time logistics scaled to a global level. The goal is to shrink the time between your click and the package arriving at your door, effectively making the warehouse an invisible, instantaneous extension of the online store. Storage has become a high-speed, data-driven science, but the evolution doesn't stop there. We are now entering the era of data. Storage, the cloud. Today, our most valuable assets are often not physical goods, but information. Our photos, our documents, our digital identities. This data is stored in massive, climate-controlled data centers scattered across the globe. These are the modern granaries and Horia, but instead of storing grain, they store petabytes of ones and zeros. The security, accessibility, and management of this digital stuff is one of the defining challenges of our time. From a pit in the ground to a server in the cloud, the fundamental human need remains the same: to preserve what is valuable and plan for the future. So, the next time you put away your groceries or save a file to the cloud, take a moment. You are participating in an ancient human tradition. The story of storage is a quiet but powerful thread running through our entire history. The story of how we learned to tame time, build empires, connect the world, and ultimately define what it means to be civilized. What we choose to keep and how we choose to keep it says everything about who we are and where we're going. Thanks for joining us on this journey through time. If you found this interesting, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell icon so you don't miss our next exploration into the hidden histories that shape our world. See you next time.